Hey y'all, Rayshawn here, and today we have an exciting episode because we get to talk to some very special alum. So first up is Patti Peabody. She is a super alum, is what I'm calling her, because she has been involved with Augusta University for decades, from when she was a little girl up until now as an employee and as well as an alum. And she is that person that goes to all of our sporting events, especially our basketball games. She loves the Jags, and I can't wait to talk to her about her experience because she has a very long history and has seen Augusta University grow from Augusta College to what we are today. So I'm excited to talk to her. And we have a very special guest, Stacie King, who is one of our Outstanding Young Alumni Award winners for this year. So we'll get to celebrate her during Alumni Weekend. But today we're going to talk a little bit about her business, Stacie Social. She is a social media advertising company. And I love social media, love talking to her about all those things. And we were in school at the same time, but we didn't know each other. So we're going to talk about all the things social media and a little bit about her experience. So I hope you're ready. Here we go. Well, welcome, Patti, to In the Wild. So excited to be chatting with you today. So getting involved, we were chatting earlier about you also being an SGA president, because when I was here, I was SGA president.
Wonderful.
So, yes.
Congratulations.
And you were the first woman for the university, well, then Augusta College. Mm-hmm. So could you tell me a little bit about that experience?
Technically, I was told, I got involved with student government through a friend.
Okay.
And I was going to graduate in 5 years. My choice. But then my 6th year was starting, and I wanted to be president of student government. So I decided to stay an extra year.
Okay.
So I actually was in undergraduate school for 6 years. But my last year was spent being student government president. And I was told I was the first elected female president of student government. So I'm thinking they may have put someone in that was not officially elected by the students.
Oh, okay.
So I was the first official elected female president of student government, which is a wonderful experience. I just thoroughly enjoyed it. And at the time, Dr. George Christenberry was retiring that year. And I was able to serve on the search committee for the president of the university, which is really a neat experience for a student to be able to serve on that committee. So I ended up graduating with a bachelor's degree, Bachelor of Art in Political Science and Sociology. So I did a double major.
Oh, nice.
So it was worth it all. It really was. I would do it over. I didn't want to grow up.
Aw.
I still haven't. I'm still here. So.
Yeah, and you mentioned that you've been at the university as an employee for quite some time, too.
Yes.
What would you say has kept you here?
My love of the school and the students. I started working in the admissions office in 1988 as a recruiter. 20 years,
Oh, wow.
Traveling the state, doing college fairs, open houses, presenting at the high schools, whatever, talking to parents, just really getting the word out about Augusta College, Augusta State University, and on. So I really enjoyed that part of it. And then it became time, this was all before technology. I hear recruiters now saying, my GPS didn't take me the right way. We didn't have GPSs. I had the Rand McNally map.
Oh, wow.
Saying, okay, turn left. It was just a totally different world. But now these recruiters don't know how lucky they have it. But after recruiting for several years, I transitioned to an office job. I work with transfer evaluations now. So I do transfer evaluations for all transfer students coming to the university. So it's a lot. It's just fun. I enjoy it. And it's just the contact I've had with students. I get them in, and then I go to graduation, and I see them graduating. And there's so much pleasure in that. And it just keeps me young being here.
And even before then, you had a close connection to the university. Mm-hmm. You lived in the neighborhood, and you essentially kind of grew up here. Do you want to share that story?
I think I learned to ride a bicycle in the back where the science building is, where it dead ends going into McDowell Street. I remember riding my bike up and down through there before the school has changed, before it had all these new buildings. And my grandparents actually lived on the street, on McDowell Street. And so my mother would bring us, my brother and I, up here to play and fly kites over, just all kind of life up here at this university. And it's just been, I tell people it's my dirt. Because since moving from McDowell, I live around the corner and within 2 blocks of the school. So it really is this is my home. And when I actually went to Richmond Academy, graduated from there,
wow.
and came to Harvard on the Hill, Princeton in the Pines, actually Augusta College. They had all the nicknames, and a lot of people at that time would say, "You're just going to 13th grade." And they would call Augusta College the 13th grade. But I made some of the best friends that I've had that I would have never known in high school, that were local students from Augusta, but we didn't go to the same high schools. I would have never known them. And by pledging Zeta Tau Alpha in 1981, that just really expanded my love of the university and made some special friends that are still very close to me today. So that was wonderful.
I love that, especially for me being an alum, because I'm not from Augusta, but similar to you, like I came here and I met some of the best people, and some of the friends that I've made my freshman year, like
Right.
best friends that I've ever had.
You share great experiences together here, and you go, "Oh my gosh, you remember this? And we did this event, and how much fun it was," and just things like that. They just bond you together. And I'm so proud to see the university now, and the amount of students we're getting from out of the area, and that's really the housing. If we can provide more housing, hopefully in the future, getting more of the out. I found with people talking to them, if I can get them to come on the campus. They're like, "Oh, this is a beautiful brochure." Well, of course it is, but you need to come feel how you feel here. Step foot on this campus, and it's beautiful. I think you'll really be amazed, and it's true.
Yeah, just thinking about like my senior year in high school, I always wanted to come to Augusta University. I was like, yeah, this has the major that I want. It looks great. And then my counselor was like, but don't you want to try other places? Don't you want to, experience other colleges or whatever? And I toured a few places, but then when I toured here, I was like, if I didn't know before, I definitely know now.
And that's a great feeling. And I love to hear that from students. That just it validates our job in the admissions office.
Yeah, for sure. Like I definitely felt like this could be my home for the next 4 years, and it was.
Now, what area are you from?
I'm from, call it the middle of nowhere, Georgia. Montgomery County area.
Okay, I'm familiar with the counties around here. So yeah, wow. So you did come. That's not near here.
Like 2 hours south of here for those that aren't familiar. So yeah, when I came up here, I was sold. I applied to other colleges because my guidance counselor pretty much told me I had to.
Well, that you do.
But
yeah.
But I was like, I know I'm going to be accepted. I know I'm going here. Like this is.
That's wonderful. And I would say I may have recruited you, but I was out of recruiting by then, so I won't take credit for you. That's not. The other thing I've enjoyed doing since graduating from here, I did get my master's degree from here in 1996 in education, in administration and supervision. So not teaching. I never planned to go into school, but I worked with schools, so I felt like that could benefit me with my job. And so that was a highlight of getting my master's. And then serving on the alumni board for the university. That was a big honor to be able to host events and help provide scholarships for students and be active with the alumni, meet new alumni, and stay connected. So especially, and then working on campus.
Yeah, I was just going to ask, like, what kind of keeps you motivated as an alumna to stay involved?
Just supporting the university because it's in my love. I mean, it's my love, and I don't know any different. I mean, I don't. The alumni barbecue, the alumni weekend, there's just so many things that I want to participate. Homecoming.
Yeah.
And just there's so many different people at the homecoming basketball game the other day. There were actually 3 separate groups of alums, of former basketball players that were in attendance. There were some from the 70s, early 70s, then some from the late 70s to early 80s when I was in school here, and then some of the guys in the past years that have played for DIP that came. So I love seeing those different groups of people that I've known through the years. So that's fun, staying connected with that.
And I guess what has it been like for you since, even as a little girl, like you've been around, like seeing the buildings go up, campus change, consolidation, to now as Augusta University, what has that been like for you?
It's been amazing. Again, I tell people, even in Augusta, oh, I ride by the school, it looks so pretty. I'm like, no, park, come walk in and see how pretty it is. You can't drive through campus anymore. I don't know if you've seen the drawings of what the campus used to look like. There were roads, there was total roads through campus, and you had to stop, or people would hit you. And I mean, there were roads. There was a road in front of the Benet House and Payne Hall and Fanning Hall. You could actually park. Now it's nice, pretty sidewalk. They've taken all the roads out of the middle of campus, which is nice. And so, and it's so pretty. The one thing I don't think a lot of people realize, when I was in college, we had the 6 buildings. And I'm not going to try to name them because I'll forget. But we had an area called the Teardrop that we would hang out between classes because we had 10 minutes between class. And that was just kind of the hangout. The little baseball team would be over here and the little Zetas would be over here. Every little group had their area. And what they've done in the past several years is they've remade the Teardrop in front by the flagpole. And it's just that little area with it. And it's a miniature version of where we used to hang out. And nobody would know that. And I take my friends that come up on campus. I said, does this look familiar to y'all? And there's a picture of me actually in one of the old yearbooks hanging out at the Teardrop. So I'm like, that's what we used to have here. So bringing stuff like that back was really neat to see.
Yeah, a lot of students, they don't notice that the teardrop is shaped like a teardrop, and they're like, why is it called that? And it's like, because
it's a teardrop right there.
That's how you look at it.
It was just neat to see that come back, And then actually the library that we studied in, it's the same library. They just built the Student Activity Center in front of it, attached to it. So that library has been there. That's where I studied.
Oh, wow.
And so that's a neat, and the Performing Arts Theater and the Roar Store, all those buildings have been here, but to see the new buildings too are really nice.
So out of all the changes and, I guess, evolution of Augusta University, what would you say has been the most exciting part?
Well, the most exciting and the most scariest at the same time was consolidation. Really.
Yeah.
I mean, that was a big change. And the one thing I was so thankful for is that with the 2 schools combining, we didn't share any of the same programs except for nursing. That was the only one we had in common. So we weren't at risk of losing faculty and staff because we already had that program, or they already had that program. So by us, that consolidation, but it was still scary. And it's a great thing. Now, it's amazing. And just the caliber of students we're getting now based on what we have to offer. That's the whole Georgia Regent's name was a challenge.
Yeah.
But we survived it. So,
we're still here.
I've worked for 4 different universities: Augusta College, Augusta State University, Georgia Regent's University, and Augusta University, all in the same building. For all those years, I have not changed buildings. So.
Well, that's kind of cool.
And the one neat thing about this building, Dr. Christenberry, I don't think I've mentioned this, had lived in the building when I was a student here. And when he retired, they gave his house to the admissions office. So it's technically the house. I mean, he lived there when I was a student, so you didn't go near there. But now it's been my office for over 35 years.
For current students looking to make the most of their college experience here, what advice would you give them just based off of your experiences?
Well, live in housing as a freshman, if you can. I mean, I think that's just a great way to meet people. Get involved. We have so many clubs and organizations that are available. Even if you are local and you know everybody, meet new people. Find ways to connect. Get to know your teachers. We have a great faculty here, and they're very willing to help. And just the tutoring sessions, the freshman year experience, all of that, take advantage of it, because there really is a lot of opportunity out there.
And you are a very passionate fan of our Jaguars. Have you always been into sports, or how did you?
I was going to say that's my highlight. That's my, literally when I was probably 5 or 6 years old, my grandfather brought me to a basketball game at the old gym that we had on campus. And anybody that knows the old gym, it was an old gym. And it was very cozy and very intimidating for our visiting teams that came. And my grandfather was a huge fan of Augusta College basketball. So I do get it honestly. And even growing up, we'd come up to games. And then when I started college here, I went to all the games. And I say this in jest, but I really believe it. I think I've been to more games than anybody.
Oh, wow.
Anybody. Because I go home and away. I travel with them, and it's been going for over 30 years. And there's no coaches have been that long, They haven't been to all the games I've been to. I do love, my brother played basketball. My dad played. My nephew plays, so I never played. I'm a fan. I'm not an athlete, so I just love it. And the part of it being in admissions, I do get to meet the players initially as they're being recruited and their parents. So that always, and we're talking basketball here, and it's so nice to know their families and connect with them, especially the ones from out of town, because the parents feel like, oh, well, I know if I need something, I can maybe reach out to Patti and she can tell me where he can go to get medicine or whatever. And so it's just nice to have that connection with the players and support them. And we just have been successful. We've had a couple of really good seasons since I've been here, thanks to our wonderful coach.
Yep, shout out to Dip.
Yep, shout out to Dip.
And with Alumni Weekend approaching, what would you say are some of your favorite events or things to do during that weekend?
I enjoy the banquet they have on the Friday night where they highlight people from each of the departments, the academic departments, and recognize them, because there are so many people out there that are Augusta graduates, we'll just leave it at that, and that are so successful that you don't have any idea. One of the guys that I was in school with actually is one of the top 5 guys with Chick-fil-A.
Oh, wow.
And he was a student here, and he came and spoke, and it was just amazing. I'd have never known that. A guy that played basketball here, we just highlighted him. He's in the White House, a brigadier general. Don't quote me. Jacob Middleton is his name, but if you want to Google him, he's done amazing. And he played basketball here. They're just things you would have never, just learning more about those people. And then they do the picnic for the Alumni Weekend. That's always a good time. It's nice just to socialize and visit. And then the Saturday night event is more for the medical school, and maybe they have their big dinners and stuff. But I do take advantage of what I can. What includes me and involves me, I do.
Yeah, my friends and I last year, we had a blast at all of the events that we could go to, because it was just really fun or for me, because I'm a planner, just seeing the itinerary. It's like, hey guys, all we gotta do is show up.
Yeah, exactly. I know you don't have to do it.
Exactly.
I've done that before too, big time. I get it, especially with the alumni board. I did go to the Green Jackets game Saturday night.
Okay.
I forgot about that.
Yeah.
I did attend that, so that was nice.
What's a fond memory that you have on campus that when you think about it, it still brings a smile to your face?
Wow, a lot of those. We used to have homecoming dances in the student center. Well, it's in the book, in the Washington Hall where our cafeteria used to be. And so we could just walk from the basketball game over to the gym,
Nice.
over to there, and have a DJ and stuff. And they would do a hoedown. We'd have in the spring, a spring hoedown. We'd have Oktoberfest in the fall, and they'd serve the German food and stuff, just themes throughout the year. And then a Halloween party, costume party, something that was fun. So just different events like that. Intramurals. We had an intramural field behind the parking lot at the PAT, and they did intramural softball. Then we had intramural football. That was where Allgood Hall is now, the parking lot. It used to be flat. And so it's just fun to think back, and those were a lot. Intramural basketball was huge too. So there were some things now that aren't on. I don't want to say negative because I'm not negative, but it's different now though, the different campuses.
Yeah.
Just the fact that the basketball game's not on this campus. You have to drive to go, whereas we could walk out of class and go to a game, which was really nice. So it was a lot easier to attend a game. You didn't have to. Same with intramurals. The intramurals are either downtown, the Health Science campus, or out at the gym, and they're just not right here. And there's some activities that just aren't here. So that's harder. But I'm glad I've stayed on this campus.
Yeah, I love Somerville.
Yes.
What would you say is your favorite spot on campus?
I think probably near the teardrop in the middle.
Okay.
Just right there in the center where you can see how pretty everything is. In the quadrangle, we used to use that for our alumni barbecue. I've been to many events at that courtyard before. And we have so many different options now, we don't have to go to that as much. I love the Grove in the front for events. The Christmas, when they do the Christmas tree, that's the tree lighting. I think that's really pretty out there when they, and stuff like that. In the amphitheater, the fireworks, Those are
always
nice.
nice. Yeah.
Yes, they do a good job.
I do wish I could have attended an event in the quad. 'Cause I don't think, for me as a student,
You
used
probably
it.
haven't seen.
Yeah.
In the past, we've done some not orientations, preview days.
Okay.
We have a See Augusta event coming up this Saturday, and I don't know, maybe we'll have 400 or 500 people here, parents included, and family, and we'll set up tables out there, and it just depends on what's going on and what's available. But yeah, it is nice back there.
And before I let you go, I guess for any alums watching this, what advice would you give them if they wanted to, I guess, connect with the university or find their thing to?
Go on our website. Everything's online. We have a great alumni office. They are willing to connect you with whatever you want to do. There's a lot of information about what's going on. And just show up. Just be there and volunteer. I'm sure they use as many volunteers as they could get for the barbecue. Any of the events going on. And attend the what am I trying? Not the homecoming event, the spring event. The
Alumni Weekend?
Yeah, thank you. The Alumni Weekend. And come to that. Pick out an event to come to and reconnect.
Yeah.
And one thing that we're here, we don't have a connection with our class. Like, I've graduated in 87. I don't have a connection to people the way some schools do. So it's more like what club you were in, your friends.
Yeah.
I'd have student government friends. My Zeta girl, my sisters, we're still connected, but it doesn't matter how old you are. And I think that's true here. If you were in the biology club, friends that you had then, reach out and get them involved too. I've seen a lot of different groups that are that connected that way. So that's a good way to reach out too. But this is in my heart. This is my passion. It's my love.
Yes, and I love seeing it. Just talking to you today just makes me feel even more excited for Alumni Weekend and the other stuff that we have to support the university as alum.
Well, we've come a long way, and I see we're going. We're moving forward.
Yeah. Last question before I let you go is just like, what would, just from your perspective, your hopes for the future of Augusta University? Like, what would you like to see?
Housing. I think we all say that.
Yeah.
I really do. And I respect the fact that we are very landlocked. We've always been told that Somerville won't let us build houses. I don't know how much of that's true, but I think we're really landlocked up here. And we just have to find the land, and that's the hard part. It really is. And if we could get the housing, I think that would just make all the difference. Just getting the kids from out of town and making the community, you have a sophomore housing wing and, not just after your freshman year, you have to move somewhere else. Let them kind of continue or have another building for them just to kind of keep that going. But I would love to see that. And academics is flourishing. With cyber and the medical, of course. Everything, the arts and science, the arts are doing great. It's just in education, gosh, everything's booming. So it's really an exciting time.
Yes, it's a great time to be involved at Augusta University.
Exactly. I'm excited for our students. And yeah.
Well, thank you so much for being here and chatting with me. For everyone watching, I hope you get to participate in Alumni Weekend if you are an alum. And be like Patti.
Thank you for having me. It really, I get so excited talking about my life here, and it's been wonderful. And I'm not going to tell you retirement will be easy. I'm just going to tell. But I'll still be around, that's for sure. So,
I'm looking forward to it.
Well, nice. Thank you for having me.
Hey, I'm Tyler.
I'm Kaylee.
We hope to see you in April for Alumni Weekend.
You can register on our website.
Welcome, Stacie, to In the Wild. I'm so excited to have you.
Thanks for being here.
And I guess just to dive right in, can you talk a little bit about your student experience while you're here at Augusta University? Because you're a fellow COM alum.
Yes, fellow COM alum. Yes, I actually had a really interesting journey, I think, in Augusta University. So I had actually started out at GMC first, the local community college. Had a rough path starting out in college. College was not for me. And then got my way and got into Augusta University. But when I got in, it was actually Georgia Regents University. So I was really able to see how the brand and how Augusta University has evolved. Well, anyways, got into Augusta University, did really well. Was here for 2.5 years, and then graduated December of 2016. But in my time here, I was really able to dabble in all sorts of things, not just comm, which was super fun and great because I was able to learn communications and marketing and then figure out how those would work together. And so I think my journey just kind of definitely started here. And I think that I'm super thankful for what I was able to have here because it has continued in my career these days. So,
yeah, and I was just going to ask, like, how did you get inspired to go into social media and marketing?
Yeah, I love to talk to people. I love to network, and I love to find creative ways to talk more about people. So talk with them, talk about them, and figure out how to creatively do that. So when I was picking my major, I was like, I think my only thing I can do is communications. I can talk, I can communicate. And so I chose communications. I did learn that I was not the best writer, but learned that I was really creative. So definitely was able to adjust and have a little bit of that marketing path as well. I can dive deeper into that if you'd like, but
yeah, because with Stacie Social, you've, I want to say, kind of worked for a little bit of everybody, like different
Yes.
industries, from like real estate and sporting events. Like, how do you, I guess, be creative for all the different types of folks you get to work with?
Yeah. Can I start with a little bit of my backstory?
Yeah,
and
sure.
I think that it'll like maybe help tell maybe that a little bit. So I've always worked. Throughout high school, I had a job no matter what. I supported myself basically when I was turned 17. And then all through college, I always had 2 jobs. No matter what it was, I always had 2 jobs. I couldn't sit still. I was always wanting to meet new people and do different things. It wasn't that I was constantly getting new jobs because I wasn't good at them. It was I would find better opportunities because I was like, wow, I'm really interested in this. I want to go learn this. And one thing that I learned to do and was actually one of my favorite jobs was hosting. So I was a host at a restaurant. My first hosting job was at California Dreaming.
Okay.
And I think everyone should work in F&B. It's a great place to toughen you up. But make you not so awkward when talking to people. And so I learned to host, and I learned a lot of just really great, I think, like etiquette, but then how to conversate and how to be around different types of people and how you need to adjust when you're with this person or that person. You know, some people don't want to talk, and you're like, okay, I'm still going to be kind, but I'm not going to chat your ear off. Or some people want to talk. How can I still do my job and talk your ear off? And anyway, so I was job after job trying to figure out, like, okay, how am I going to support myself and get through school? So that's what I did. I always had 2 jobs and supported myself all the way through college. While I was in college, here at Augusta University, I worked around the university. I worked at Indian Queen, which is right up the street. And then I worked at Finch and Fifth there as well.
Okay.
And so I really was able to network with different types of people. I know it sounds crazy, but the different type of people that you meet at a bar, and especially people from Augusta that are in total different industries, I was able to learn and talk to them. So I'd meet a banker, I would meet a real estate guy, I would meet somebody that's into opening restaurants. I met a marketing agency. So I was really able to learn and understand because I felt like I got so good at conversating with these people about different industries. So I had an internship and it's a whole different story of how I got to that one, but I had an internship at an advertising agency here in town. And Ware Stewart, they're incredible. I think they're the best in town. They are the best in town. And they actually rebranded the university. And while I was there, I mean, I got to just dive right into everything because they were kind of the same. They dealt with all different types of brands. It's kind of one of their, like I think mottos is there, like we deal with bars, breweries, people, real estate, anything. That I kind of wanted to do the same. Niching down is boring.
Yeah.
You know, I don't want to talk just about, just call it healthcare all day long. I want to get really good at golf and really good at horses and really good at real estate. And because at the end of the day, social media, while it needs to be different for everyone, the foundation's the same. And so how can we be more creative and fun for each person? And so if we were dealing with all the same types of people, the content would be boring.
Yeah.
And we'd be bored. And I don't do well being bored. So, does that answer your question?
I think it answers it perfectly
Okay.
because I kind of feel the same as just a creative person.
Yeah.
You like having that opportunity of like, oh, right now I'm really into this,
Yeah.
or this is trending. I just want to be, I want to have the freedom to just like learn and see what I can do
Yes.
in this space. And then when I feel like I've done all I can do,
Yeah.
I'm ready for the next creative challenge. So
Yes,
I'm right there with you.
absolutely.
What was it like for you to, I guess, just start your own business? Because obviously entrepreneurship is not easy and it's not for everyone.
Right.
But what has that experience been like for you so
Yeah.
far?
It's been a wild experience. I think I had really great mentors, as I'd like to call them, or past bosses that either I was, wow, I want to be just like them, or wow, I hope I can be better than them. You know, you have those.
Yeah.
And I was able to take bits and pieces from really great leaders that I had and really wanted to apply that to what I was doing as a business owner, because I'm now a leader of 4 women. And I really want to be a positive impact for them. But starting a business, it was never in my cards. Like was never when I was in college, like, I want to start a social media advertising agency. This is what I want to do. I had no idea. And from all my really great connections that I made is really what helped me snowball into what I am today. It was one person asked me like, hey, do you want to manage my social media? And I was like, sure, why not? I'm not really that busy right now. Sure, I'll do it. And from there, it just like phone call after phone call.
Wow.
And I found this just need in Augusta of just a social focused agency, and I was really able to grow it. So I started February of 2022, and it's 2024. I'm a 6-figure revenue agency. I've got 4 full-time girls. I always have some interns and 1 part-time, and it's the best. But being a business owner is tough. It's hard.
It is difficult. It is difficult.
Yes.
What would you say is one of the key lessons you've learned so far throughout your businesswoman journey?
Key lessons. I have a few.
Okay. What first comes to mind?
This one's kind of aggressive.
Okay.
Hire slow, fire fast. Not really a positive one.
No, but that makes perfect sense.
Perfect sense. I need help, but I want to make sure I have quality help, but I also want to make sure they vibe with me. I'm really big on just having really great culture. And so finding good people that can work with everyone is what you want.
Yeah.
But sometimes you just need, bodies to help you do it. But you also want to make sure that it works for your team. So hire slow, fire fast. I loved that piece of advice I got one time. God, I'm trying to think.
Yeah, because when it's not working out, it's not working out.
It's not working out. And
sometimes that's the only...
yes. And you hate to be there because I'm such a people pleaser. And I think that's what I've had to learn is you can't just leave them around because, you feel bad.
Then the work culture starts to suffer.
They
and yeah,
suffer.
Yeah.
Like professionally, you want to be able to grow as well. And if it's not working, you're not going to be able to grow. What was the question? How'd you ask that?
Yeah, just other key lessons that
Key
you kind of
lessons.
learned so far.
Oh, gosh. Sorry.
No, you're fine. I didn't mean to stump you with it.
No, I love it because I feel like I have a million, but I'm like, what are they? I'd say my biggest key lesson is don't be so hard on yourself. And Rome wasn't built in a day.
Yeah.
And I think that's so cliche, but as a business owner or somebody that wants to be really successful, it's like you want everything to happen right then, and you can't get frustrated because you've got to keep going for not only yourself but your clients and your coworkers. Rome wasn't built in a day, so quit being so hard on yourself. I need to do better at that. But
yeah, that makes sense too.
yeah.
And congrats on being one of our outstanding young alumni for this year.
Yes.
How does it feel to be recognized for all of your achievements so far?
I'm honored. It's really exciting. Again, I think as somebody that's like a little hard on themselves, sometimes you're like, oh, I mean, I'm doing okay, but everyone else is doing way better, you know?
Yeah.
That sometimes I think it's hard to accept it and be like, are you sure you want me? Are you sure? But it's really exciting, especially to be able to, you know, be somebody that is a reflection of Augusta University. I love
Yeah.
Augusta. I love Augusta University. And I love who comes out of it and everything that I was able to do and to achieve at Augusta University. So it's really exciting. I'm pumped. I can't wait to see who else got it. So.
Yeah, because you're probably, as of right now, like one of the only folks that I know that has won. So shout out to you.
Shout out. Thank you.
If you could go back in time and give your college self any advice, what are some tidbits of advice you would give yourself?
I love this one because I have a good story.
Okay.
So I had this mentality in college where I'm like, I don't need to learn that. I'm not going to do it. And this was in 2016, 15. Reels and video wasn't like huge yet. Like social videography was not big, you know? And we were in a class and we were either able to learn like Photoshop, InDesign, and Illustrator, which is like a design software, or you could learn how to video edit. And I was like, I'm not going to learn how to do that. I'll never use that again. You know, kind of like geometry. Like, do you use geometry? No, exactly. And so I had this horrible attitude.
Yeah.
And I think about it all the time that I could have come out of college with like 2 years more experience in video editing if I wouldn't have had that attitude. That I tell every class I speak to, like, learn as much as you possibly can, no matter if you don't think you're going to use it, because in some way, if you're going to do communications and marketing, you're going to dabble in it. You're going to need to know how to do a little bit of everything. So become a Jack or Jill of all trades. That's what I like to say.
All the time to people, like,
Yes.
especially like you said, for our field, it's ever changing. So you never
Yes.
know what might get thrown onto your plate,
Yeah.
or they might say, hey, we're looking for someone that knows how to do this. And hey, I took a class in that. Like,
Right. I know a little bit about
Yeah.
it, and that's okay. I always say, I know enough to be dangerous. And that's kind of all
I
you
like
need.
that.
Yeah, you don't need to be an expert. And I do also say that no one can say that they're a social media expert, because you can't be an expert in something that changes every day.
every day.
Every day.
And I think a lot of people don't recognize how quickly just algorithms and trends and just
Yes.
the landscape of some of these apps, they're just changing.
Always changing.
So you have to be a forever student.
You have to be. I don't know if I could do it. But you are a forever student in marketing and communications for sure. My husband told me this one time, and I love it. It's kind of one of my favorite things. It's social media and marketing are you're day trading people's attentions every day. Meaning, kind of like how stocks work. Nothing's the same every day. So you are day trading people's like attention. And so what worked yesterday might not work today. So you're always having to be like fresh and on top of it. And how can we be different? And how can we talk to people? Test things out.
Yeah.
So we're just day trading.
Yeah, that was another question I was curious about.
Yeah.
How do you go about taking those like calculated risks and being creative? Because
Yeah.
on one hand, it's like, hey, there's research that this content is trending right now and it will likely work. But then at the same time, based off of your company that you're working with, it may not necessarily be their
thing.
Yeah, it may not be their thing.
No. And I say this, I look at trends and I say, will that look as good in 5 years? No matter what it is, every trend is going to look silly. But will that be a bad reflection on your brand in 5 years? That's how I kind of look at every trend. Granted, there's some that are just ridiculous, like the little dog popping up. That will always be ridiculous in 5 years. But if you really like look at things and deeply understand, like, could this affect me in 5 years or even a year? You know how things change. That I'm a little bit more calculated on trends, I think, than anything, because you never know what people are going to think or say or do. But you also want it to be a good reflection of the brand.
Yeah. Of all the projects that you've taken on so far, do you have like a very memorable one that you can speak to?
Memorable. As far yeah. So I work on the Kentucky Derby team. So we do the Kentucky Derby social media.
That's really cool.
It's really cool. Like definitely one of my favorites. They have an awesome team there. And as a young professional, still even like learning my craft and how I can get better at it, I'm able to be in positions and situations where I'm with people that are smarter than me, know more than me, and have done bigger things than me. And I'm able to get better through all of them. And that is so cool to be able to go and do. Because, I mean, I hate, Augusta's small.
Yeah.
The stuff we do here, while some of it is big, some of it is small. And now we're able to learn, and I'm able to learn and take these really large events and things and say that, wow, how can I take this and put it on a smaller scale? So I'd say like those are like experiences that I love, being a part of larger teams so that it better benefits my clients and the experience and the knowledge that we have on a higher scale for our smaller people. So I think that they've got like big time experience in a small town area, which is huge. Probably that. I like the experience aspect.
I like that.
Yeah.
And as a social media professional, this is one of my fun questions.
Ooh, okay.
What are some of your social media pet peeves or trends that you don't particularly care for?
Okay. My biggest pet peeve is people that don't take videos in the ratio for the platform that it's going on. It's silly. You can do your phone horizontally if you want to, but that is my largest pet peeve. I also hate negativity on social media, which I feel like it kind of breeds that sometimes.
Yeah.
But I think that's a trend. I think people get on there to like roast people and be negative, and I think it's a really great place to also breed positivity. And I wish people would be more positive. That's not really a fun answer, but I hate seeing negativity online. I always say people that comment mean things are just losers.
Yeah, like even when I'm scrolling on TikTok and just seeing people like complain about certain things, there's like, come on.
Yeah, go to Reddit.
Reddit. But yeah, I hate seeing people just be chronic complainers online.
Chronic complainers. But I love the positivity and I love the humor because, I mean, it can be such a place to bring you when you're down to bring you up.
Yeah.
You know? I do love TikTok, though. I think people sleep on it.
I love TikTok.
I love TikTok.
I wish we had more time to like play around with like TikTok for our university, but it's such a fun tool, and just seeing how it's grown, especially from like the popping off point from the pandemic to
COVID
now.
days.
Yeah.
I mean, we were dancing, and now businesses are all over it. Like, do you follow Duolingo on there? It's my favorite.
I don't follow Duolingo, but Duolingo has popped up on my For You page so many times.
Yes.
And I actually downloaded it last month because when
it's working.
It worked. Like, I fell victim. I love it. Love Duolingo. Love their mascot.
Yes.
So silly.
And their strategy is amazing. Like, they comment on people's stuff, and it is so funny and so good. And it is totally irrelevant to their brand, but they are there, and I love that.
Like, I don't know if you saw their collab with Dr. Miami.
No.
But
You do. So good.
I probably can't speak on it on air, but I'll tell you after. But that was like the selling point for me. I was like, okay, let me download it. Because I've seen stuff like with Duo for years. Like even when I think Taylor Swift had announced like her upcoming album, like Duo is like creating their version of,
good.
like it's so fun. So shout out to the Duolingo team.
Shout out.
Like y'all are killing it.
It's working.
And if you could work with any celebrity for their social media,
celebrity.
Who'd be on the top of your list?
I work in golf already, so it probably wouldn't be golf.
Okay.
It wouldn't be horses. I'd love to dabble in F1.
Okay.
Don't have a certain person, just F1. Like, I feel like the guys are cool. You could do some really fun content with them, reflex stuff. Give me some F1.
Okay.
No specific person. I'm more of give me a genre to work in and I can
gotcha.
make it happen.
I gotcha.
But if I did, I think doing like an actual celebrity is too much pressure.
You think so?
Yes. Like, Think about if you had to do Taylor Swift's social media. I mean, everything is so calculated. That would be your only job, which would be kind of fun. But
I was about to say for Taylor, because of the fan base, I think that might be a lot of fun.
it would be a lot of fun.
Because they're always looking for Easter eggs. So
Always
being able to like
figure out where you're going to put them.
sprinkle a little, give them a
would be
little,
fun. But I love sports. So, sports. But F1.
Okay. Any other guilty pleasures besides TikTok on social media?
No, just TikTok. I hate Twitter.
You hate Twitter?
I hate Twitter.
I have a...
Excuse me, X. That's what
I
it's called.
guess. I'm not calling it X. For me, I feel like I have this love-hate relationship because my Twitter can be very fun and engaging.
Right.
But I also see how negative people, like,
Yeah.
I feel like that's the go-to platform for a lot of people to, like, troll you and just,
Troll.
like, look for any excuse to be mean. And that's, yeah, that side of Twitter, I'm just like, ugh.
I can't do it. I do always, but I think it's my, like, being a woman. I'm like, Twitter is for men, sports, politics, and news. I don't need it, which is so silly. I run a social media agency, but we don't run Twitter for any of our accounts.
Really?
Yeah. It's just, it kind of has worked out, but I have also said, like, if your people aren't on Twitter, we're not doing Twitter for you.
That's
you need
fair.
to be where your people are. I'm sorry, X. X, not Twitter. See, I don't even... No, that's horrible. The social
fine.
media expert should call it the right name.
But no, I think that's the valid point of,
Yeah.
like, if your people aren't there, you don't have to try to build a community where your people already aren't.
No.
No. It's
Don't
okay.
force them. Go where they're at. Go hang out with them wherever they're going to stay, you know.
But I guess switching gears just a little
Yeah.
bit, like, because we talked about social media, outside of that, how do you manage to just separate yourself? Because it's your work, but also guilty pleasure.
Yes.
Like, how do you manage to take your breaks when you need to and not be chronically online like
Yeah.
I am?
I
guess?
know. I'm chronically online. It's horrible. I try to turn off my, like, strategy brain a little bit because most of the time, like, I'll come home and my husband's like, are you not sick of looking at your phone? And I'm like, no, because what I was doing all day was working on my phone. But when I come home, I just kind of want to mindlessly scroll. But as you might know as well, like, the way I consume media is so different from somebody that doesn't work in communications and marketing. The way I consume media is I want to know why that performed well, how long was it, did it have a hook, you know, who are the people talking to that, and how can I take that video and apply it to this client. So I consume media so differently that it's more like exciting for me. I haven't lost that joy yet. I know I'm going to get sick of it one day. I do try to not stay on it past a certain time.
Okay.
When I go to dinners places, and this should probably be for everyone, I leave my phone in the car. I don't bring my phone, like, out to dinner because I will get on it. And then in the mornings, I try not to look at it before 9 a.m.
Okay.
That's my only way. I haven't found a good balance yet. Chronically online. Chronically connected.
Yeah, sometimes I have to remind myself, like, okay, Rashawn, put your phone down.
Yes.
Like, just be in the moment. Or even if I'm, like, on another screen, like, sometimes just that conscious effort of, like, yep, we're just going to leave my phone on the charger and I'm going to do whatever else I need to
It's hard.
do. Yeah.
We grew up with this little drug. That's what it is.
And I think, like, for our age group as well, like, we were able to kind of get into social media as it first started. And, like,
Yes.
as it just exploded, but also kind of keeping up with it to now. So we're used to, like,
Having it.
having it and also expecting changes and, like, all the things.
Yes.
So, yeah.
At least we're keeping up with it. We're not like the boomers. At least. Not yet.
Okay, to all of the boomers who may be watching this, this is all in good fun.
All in good fun.
We love you guys.
Yes, stay on Facebook.
Well, Stacie, thanks so much for talking to me. Congrats again on your award. Can't wait to see you on during Alumni Weekend, and I would love to have you back on the show.
So fun. Thanks for having me. Let's get wild again.
Yes. All right, y'all. I hope you enjoyed that episode. Alumni Weekend is coming up, so for all my fellow alums, I hope to see you there. I'm going to be there with my friends. I hope you're dragging all your friends, and I hope it won't be too hard of a sell because Alumni Weekend is so fun, and it has grown throughout the years, and I'm excited. I always get excited for Alumni Weekend. Talking to Stacie was so much fun. I can't wait to have her back on the show. Patti's story was so inspiring. It makes me want to find more ways to be involved. I'm not necessarily the biggest sports fan, so I can't commit to as many games as she has gone to, but I hope you find a way as an alum to engage. And if you're a student watching this, like, these are two great examples of what your experience can be like if you stay connected with us. So if you're graduating soon, or if you still have a ways to go, don't run away as an alum. But you're about to run away now because this is the end of the episode. So like, subscribe, do all those things to help us out on the podcast side of things. And until then, I will see y'all later.